This is Blenderstyle, the show where we discuss a blend of heavy and extreme music. On this episode, Fallujah Dreamless. This album was released in 2016 on Nuclear Blast Records. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers, gentlemen. So, Matt, this was your pick. I hated Fallujah when you were bringing this band up in 2016, 17,
yes.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, yep.
You hyped them up.
No, before this, yeah.
You hyped them up so bad that I refused to listen to it.
Really?
What made you pick this album?
So I got in at The Flesh Prevails, which is the album before Dreamless.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like 2014. I got into it around 2015, I think.
Okay.
Right before Dreamless came out. And I was way into Fallujah. I pre-ordered this CD. I got the tapestry and all kinds of merch and stuff like that. And this album kind of blew me away when it came out. I was, it met my expectations when it came out because I was really into the previous album, and then this one came out, and it was exactly what I was expecting from this band. And I've been a fan of Fallujah ever since.
So this is their last album with their original singer, right?
Correct, Alex Hoffman. And then after this, they got a different singer.
Okay.
Yep.
And they put one album out with the new singer so far, right?
Yeah, Undying Light is the one after Dreamless.
What about you, Nate? Have you heard of Fallujah before?
I heard of Fallujah probably around the same time. Didn't listen to him though. I was into like kind of different things at the time. So I've heard songs here and there, but this is the first time I've listened to an album all the way through.
Okay.
So this is like technical atmospheric death metal?
It's progressive tech metal, yeah. It's
I don't even know that.
Because it's pretty technical, but it's progressive at times. And
it's not super shreddy. Like there's big open parts.
No. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ambience.
Ambience, yeah. Ambience. Atmosphere.
Yeah. I don't even know that I would consider this death metal, honestly.
Right?
The vocals are pretty death metal. And there's
vocals are definitely death metal.
And there's death metal parts too.
Oh, there's for sure death metal parts. But
it doesn't have the heaviness of death metal.
I think it has the heaviness, but it's towards the very back end. They have this really weird kind of atmospheric guitar thing going on, almost like you're listening to an F-Zero soundtrack.
F-Zero? I don't know what that is, actually.
Like a great racing game that came out on Super Nintendo.
So it's almost like you're listening to the F-Zero soundtrack over death metal.
That's weird that you would say that, because just real quick, I thought actually it was heavier in the beginning of it, and then towards the tail end, it got even more spacier and more atmospheric.
And ambient.
And ambient. There's electronic stuff that is kind of flown in there as well.
Yeah, they do mix a lot of different stuff in this.
Is this not like what?
Isn't there? Because it definitely sounds.
So their singer in this album, Alex Hoffman, he does the programming. He's listed as programming in the liner notes. He's doing a lot of like the samples, like the movie clips that they're in. They're in this, and like the spacey elements and the interlude tracks. He's definitely taking care of all that stuff for the band at this point. Yeah.
So on the new album, is there a lot of that kind of stuff in the new album?
There's little bits of it, but not as prominent as this.
Okay, because I was reading that the new album was panned, like it didn't get good reviews compared to this.
It's hard to switch a singer. I haven't heard the new stuff, but it's hard to switch a singer.
I'm gonna like just hold all my judgment of Undying Light here.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty critical of that album.
All right.
I saw Fallujah live, literally the last show with Alex Hoffman.
Oh, okay.
Then I saw Fallujah with an in-between singer. Can't remember the guy's name. He's played in lots of other bands. I'll put it in the description on YouTube. And he fucking blew. I saw him in the restaurant beforehand. I'm like, I'm looking forward to seeing you with the band. He was great live. I was like, I think he's a good replacement. And they went a totally different direction.
Really?
And the new guy he's not low guttural like this guy is, like Alex Hoffman is. He's more like high screechy death metal.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of changed sounds a little bit after Dreamless.
I can see that, yeah.
What kind of sucks about that though is when they play the older songs, is he going to do his vocals the way he's doing his vocals?
I feel like he can still do it. But like the new album is a difference.
But his
style.
comfort
No,
zone
okay.
is the higher.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
he can
Because
probably.
that would kind of suck as a fan of like this album to go see him, and then the vocals just be kind of.
I mean, they have to play older material.
Oh, for
especially
sure.
off this album, I would think.
How many albums do they have? Like 4?
So they have, this is Dreamless, and then they have, before this is The Flesh Prevails, and then they have an EP for sure before that that's killer.
And then the new one. So 3 full length and 1
Yeah.
EP.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
some
right.
more EPs. Okay. So yeah, you have to play the older stuff because you just don't have enough.
Well, and
material.
there's killer tracks on both the previous albums, for sure.
For sure.
The Void Alone on this is a banger, for sure. There's lots of singles off this that they like have videos for, even.
It definitely has like a spacey feel to it, but at times it's frantic. Like I believe it makes me kind of
Like
sounds,
brutal.
Yeah, and also it sounds like almost like a soundtrack to me. Like I
Exactly.
feel like honestly I'm like in space, by myself. My crew has died, and I can't sleep.
That's so
Alright,
good because that's exactly.
So you're talking about like 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is interesting because one of these songs samples a different Kubrick film.
Oh, okay.
They sample Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh,
Fidelio is a clip from that movie,
Okay.
Eyes Wide Shut.
So when that sample comes on, I keep thinking of the Static X song. I forget which one it is. Where it's like, I can't believe I'm letting you do this to me. For some reason, and then I'm like, oh, it's not the same song.
But yeah, it's definitely frantic at times within the even like the drummer going with the guitar player at times.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Like
brutal.
Yeah, and then it just
But then there's like beautiful parts, like there's female vocals.
Yeah.
And real like ethereal, clean,
Mm-hmm.
spacey parts.
They
Yeah.
do this weird thing where they go to their death metal parts, but then when you go to like, it's almost like a reverse of how a normal song structure is. Like normally you have like your main part, your body, your song, and then your chorus. For this, it feels like the main part is the chorus, and the chorus is the main part.
Yeah.
Like they kind of reverse it around because the whole time there's like these just crazy guitar parts going on, like just out there, like with these long bends and like sustains and stuff. Really high register, and all the music is kind of pushed to the back, which is really cool. And then they go into the death metal parts with the blast beats and the really guttural vocals and stuff, and it still stays really quiet. But then the guitars kind of cut out, and they go to like the tremolo picking and the heavy like death metal guitars and stuff. And then they come back into what should be the chorus, but it's really the main body of the song, and it's like these long bends and, like you said, the things that sound like you're like out in space. It's weird.
it's like an interlude within the song. Or
Yeah,
whatever
it's
kind of thing.
crazy.
Like a movie soundtrack, right? It kind
Yeah,
of takes
almost.
you on a journey,
Like F-Zero soundtrack.
like a video game
Dead
soundtrack.
serious, dude. There's a one song, The Void Alone. I put Mute City because all I think about is the song when you're playing.
Right?
Yeah, it's so
Kind
crazy.
of video gaming.
Yeah, but it's good video gaming.
So is that what you liked about it? Is like
Yeah. So the guitar work and tone on this is awesome. I avoided.
It's very guitar forward.
Oh yeah, I avoided the shit out of this because of how much you hyped it up, and I'm pissed at myself for not giving it a chance. I'm pissed because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to something that's been building up this much.
It's kind of a signature guitar sound, right? Like especially the solos.
Oh yeah,
Like we did Abiotic. We talked about
Mhm.
Abiotic in the pre-episode when we were
Yeah.
just practicing for this show, and Scott Carstairs plays a solo on that, and it sounds exactly like Fallujah. When you hear it, I'm like, it's Fallujah guitar solo.
oh yeah.
He has a
for
very
sure.
signature sound for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. The guitar work on this is awesome. The journey, kind of like what Nate touched on, like this journey through like space or wherever you're going, it's crazy. And they do a really good job of like dragging you along for it, making you feel like you're there with them. You feel like you're getting somewhere, you just don't know where you're getting.
So are these likes for you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like this the clean vocal parts when they bring in the female vocals. It's awesome. You don't hear that kind of stuff in a death metal band, and for them to do that, it's crazy. It to me, this isn't death metal.
It doesn't sound brutal. It's like
It-
brutal, but it doesn't sound evil and
Yeah, I
angry.
feel like it's rhythmically like
Yeah.
brutal and stuff, and like vocally and everything. But like Like
It's not an angry
it's
emotion.
not heavy. Like you guys are like saying it's heavy, but it's not like the guitars aren't heavy. Like to me,
But it is kind of, right?
But it's
brutal.
rhythmically, it's there in different ways. It's heavy.
But I think that's the issue. So it's not. I think it's heavy. It's just not loud. Because all that guitar and stuff isn't pushed forward.
In the mix, it's loud though.
It really isn't though. To me, the guitars that are doing like the psychedelic thing are the loud, the forward parts.
Yeah, okay, I feel you.
But all the drums and the vocals and everything, it kind of pushed to like maybe a layer or two behind that. And so it doesn't, like you were saying, it doesn't give the feeling of being heavy. Even though it's brutal, it doesn't have the feeling.
Well, and the chords they're playing aren't like these angry, dissonant kind of chords. They're like pretty and nice sounding. Like it's a strain. And that's one of the things I really like about it is the kind of the contrast between the brutality of the death metal and these beautiful parts and these like ambient parts that they kind of, it's weird how well they mix these two sounds together. This is a really soothing album for me. Like I can just play this all the way through and it kind of like touches my soul in the right way. Like it's like angry in the right parts but it kind of like dials it back and it lots of emotional range on this for sure.
Oh yeah.
And it's just go listen to The Void Alone. That song I feel like kind of captures the entire essence of the whole album because it kind of all these songs kind of do the same range of emotion. It's not like this song's the brutal song, this song's the slow song, this song's the blah 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 song. All of them kind of capture this complete mood and all of it, which is hard to do. And The Void Alone, in my opinion, is a masterpiece. It's the best Fallujah song. And they fucking kill it with this.
Yeah, that was a really good one. What about you, Nate? What did you like?
I definitely love a lot of the guitar parts, the leads and stuff. But also within this, the rhythm guitar playing in this is pretty awesome too. The drumming is good. I mean, everything just sounds good. This record just sounds good. And I love that it actually makes me, like I said, it takes me somewhere. It is atmospheric. And I do like that about it.
That's kind of one of my dislikes. I don't think the production is super spot on. Like some of it's too loud or there's just too much going on. And this was worse in the Flesh Prevail. Like the Flesh Prevails, the production is like way too loud and it's like the waveform is just like red the whole time. This is way better than that, but it's still like, and I'm nitpicking because I really like this album, but that's kind of where my dislike is. And really the only thing other than that I dislike is, it's not even a criticism about the album, it's about the band, is that Alex Hoffman left and then they changed kind of vocal sound and it kind of ruins it for me.
So I would agree with you. I think the production kind of is a disservice to this. At times, it almost sounds overproduced.
I agree.
And then maybe you kind of touch on what Nate was saying earlier about the not feeling heavy. I think the accessibility of it, because they push all the heavy, like the blast beats and the death metal vocals and the tremolo picking and all the heavy guitar stuff back behind those really like atmospheric guitar sounds, it makes this a super accessible album, which isn't a bad thing. But if you're coming at it from a death metal perspective, it kind of does, because it's not what you're looking for. You're expecting this to be just in your face death metal, and it's
not technical shred shit. Yeah,
it's almost.
I like that you guys are saying it's like almost not death metal, because it is death metal, but it's like it doesn't capture the same mood and same emotion that death metal does.
Yeah, this is almost too sophisticated to be a death metal album. I honestly thought this band was from France when I first heard them.
That's really funny.
This isn't something you would hear from an American metal band. I mean, to me, it was just like, this can't be an American.
This is definitely more like Fallujah, that is willing to like be a more emotional and like and have more melodic kind of sounds.
So I like the melodic sounds and stuff, but actually one of my dislikes is the vocals. I think they're kind of samey, and it kind of wears on me after a while. Like, I kind of want it to be either atmospheric or death metal. It's kind of the balance sometimes is off for a little bit for me. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my only dislikes on that.
Yeah, there's not a lot to dislike about this album.
Yeah, everything kind of sounds good. It's a decent record, and I think also when we say we don't want to say it's death metal, it's because when sometimes people hear death metal, they think of Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse, yeah.
And this is just it's not that type of death metal. It's like a technical, atmospheric death metal. I don't know. It's weird.
And they're not afraid to throw non-death metal stuff in there, like the clean vocals.
Well, the electronic,
the
parts
spacey
that were
bits,
doing,
yeah.
the spacey
clean guitar.
parts.
There's some clean guitar parts in there that are just amazing.
It almost sounded dancey in some little
Mhm.
areas.
Like even though this is like death metal, it's still like a cool vibe to it.
Yeah, 100%.
I would definitely agree. The vibe is cool.
So would you give this for a rating, Nate?
I give it a 3.8. I think it might be higher if the vocals were different, actually, for me. And 3.8. It's definitely a listenable record, and I would recommend it.
So I gave this a 4.2. I'm
Damn.
more pissed at myself for not giving this a chance.
I told
I could
you.
tell you liked it too.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Honestly, I was bummed that I didn't.
Because
give this a
lyrically,
chance.
it's good too.
I would
I didn't
agree
even-
with you.
I didn't even get into
touch
the
that.
lyrics.
The lyrics are
Because-
pretty good.
My issue with the lyrics was kind of what Nate touched on. The vocals were so monotone through the
Mhm.
whole thing. I think the fact that they changed it up with the clean or the female vocals and things like that helped it. And they were just pushed back so far that they weren't something that was abrasive. They were there.
Well, he's not through the whole album.
Exactly,
You know
that's what I
He
mean, like-
knows when to not be there and when to be there.
Yeah, he's
too,
not in
you
your
know?
face the whole time, and it's great. Like I said, I thought they were from France. They're way too sophisticated to be an American metal band. I'm really actually excited to go back and listen to their earlier stuff. I'm kind of intrigued to listen to the new thing. I read that it wasn't as good as the rest, but
It's worth a
check it
listen.
out. Yeah, see where it's at. What about you, Matt?
I give this a 4.8 out of 5.
Nice.
I dig the vibe on this album. I love that there's the contrast of the brutality and the beauty. There's tons of bangers on this album.
Mhm.
The Void Alone is an epic masterpiece from Fallujah. Dreamless is a superb album. Excellent. Highly recommend.
Nice.
Tight.
This is Blenderstyle. That was Fallujah, Dreamless.
I come Blenderstyle.